Welcome back to the Morning Bell. My name is Joanne, together with Raj Arya. Raj, we have interviewed doctors before, we have interviewed cancer survivor before, but now it seems like we are seeing things in terms of another directions. The big boys that is bringing in the technology.
That's right. Of course, you have one.
Equipment.
You have one which has the knowledge. You have one which are being treated. Then now the question is, who brings the equipment in to use to treat these people?
Exactly, that's right. Therefore, this morning we have Mr. Liu Yun Pu, which is YP Liu, of course you can call him that, co-founder and director of LAC Medical, LAC Medical Supplies, Sendirian Berhad. Good morning.
Good morning.
How you been?
I'm wonderful. It's a Friday, as all of us know. Fridays are always great.
You like the haze that's going on?
No, that's why I'm getting this cough.
Oh,
I'm
poor
just
thing,
joking.
poor thing. So, YP, why don't you share with us about your beginnings, your humble beginnings, a bit of your introduction?
Well, it's a bit of, some people find it weird. I just understand from Raj just now that he graduated in economics as well.
What were we thinking of?
I don't know, that was what I studied economics, and I don't know what on earth got me into medical, but yeah, I did various things before because we didn't come from a rich family. So what happened to us was that as we pursued our goals in life, we had to do a lot of work. Those days when we were in high school, we always used to do promoter job during
That's right. Side income, right? Pocket money, lah.
Yeah, pocket money. So I did a lot of those. I did even to the extent of during the school breaks, I did door-to-door selling. When you
that's tough in the hot sun as well.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean like the one packet of pencil or the
when you're sitting in the coffee shop and you're having your lunch.
That's right.
Wow.
Don't.
Before you even open your mouth, the hand is up. Right?
It's like eating one hand.
Oh, you brave that way.
Yes,
Respect,
yes.
that one
I
respect.
A lot
did
of
that
guts,
as
that
well.
job.
Yeah, I mean, I was trembling. The first sale I had, I was trembling. I didn't even know what to do. I didn't close it. I think she bought because of sympathy. I think.
That's right.
So
But I think if you can do something like that, anything else would pale in comparison, because I think that's one of the most toughest thing one
Can
can
you
do.
do it?
No, I can't.
I can't do it either.
Even worse than being an insurance agent
No.
or
Even
direct selling agent.
Even picking up a phone call. Hi, I'm calling from.
Click.
Exactly.
No, you're always thinking when are they going to hang up? Don't pick up. That's what you're thinking, right?
Interesting.
Yeah.
So after that, you went to university.
Then I studied.
Graduated in.
I studied economics and I graduated in economics, and then I went on to a couple of jobs,
Corporate world,
corporate world, and I was also in the training profession for a couple of years. Yeah, so I was doing soft skill training, and then of course, probably about 10 years back. 10 years back, my brother actually founded this company because he had prior experience in the medical industry.
Right.
Yep,
Your elder or younger brother?
My elder.
Elder
I look
brother.
the youngest.
Oh
right?
yeah, that's the one. The younger brother. That's right.
Right. So basically, he was in the medical field for about 10, 11 years. And at a point of time, he felt that he was ready for the market. He founded the company, LAC Medical.
Right.
And a couple of years later, he asked me to be on board because the business, of course, initially the business had some challenges, and as we went along, he said, why don't you come in and we build the business together.
Right.
So I said, all right. So I went in and we had a look at the business, and we've come a long way actually from the beginnings of probably 3 or 4 person.
Right.
Yeah, to now a company of 35 people.
Well, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
What role do you play in the company?
At this point of time, I actually handle the sales team.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm more of the sales director, and he handles the administration and also the servicing side of things.
The more technical bits,
Yeah.
obviously.
When you first got in, was it very tough for you because you didn't have any background in terms of the medical
I mean, everything
side?
was French to me.
Yep, exactly.
I didn't have a clue of what the industry was about, the jargons in the industry. It was challenging. So when I started in the company, because when I came in, he told me, why don't I make you a sales manager? And I said, no, maybe not the time yet.
Well said.
So yeah, so I started off as an executive, a sales executive, going to the ground, meeting the customers.
Right.
and learning the tricks of the trade.
Right. It would have been quite challenging because I know the manuals can be super thick.
Yeah.
And sales, the clients will be asking you all kinds of very technical questions in terms of, you know, the specifications and all.
How deep in terms of this ultrasound machine that can go into the
blah, 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 like
skin,
all the French,
yeah.
and you like...
Yeah, and the only answer I could do at the time was, well, that's a good question. I'll have to get back to you.
I'll get back to you.
You know.
Right. Now, when your brother started it, he was around in his late 20s, right?
No, I suppose at that time he was, probably 27.
27, wow.
Yeah.
For something like this, because this one we're talking about machinery and equipment which can come into the hundreds of thousands and even the millions.
Yeah.
In terms of funding to bring this machine sourcing, wouldn't that have been a challenge at that point in time? Huh?
Well, we started off really small actually.
Right.
We started off with basic consumable goods, or rather disposable goods.
Okay.
Gloves and syringes, those
Right,
things that
right.
didn't require much capital because we didn't have enough capital at that time. So as we built it over the years, then we went on to medical imaging, which was, you know, the thing. The industry requires a lot of this and it's very capital intensive. So we've been fortunate because we've had support from suppliers, and also we've managed to accumulate some capital over the past. But it's still tough. You know, I mean, it was tough a couple of years back still because we still had capital issues, but we had to sort that out. And right now, you know, we're glad to say that we're pretty comfortable.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, I would like to know, you've been in this industry for quite some time. How has the medical industry been so far from your perspective?
I mean, when people ask me this question, I always say Malaysia is one of they call it the emerging markets, because if we talk about medical technology in general, the top country in Southeast Asia would generally be Singapore. Yep, everybody talks about that.
That's right.
And the second one, to our surprise, is actually Thailand.
Oh, is that? Huh?
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's Thailand.
Why is that so?
The adoption of technology in Thailand is just super fast. You know, and anything that is newly launched, sometimes even before Singapore buys it, Thailand buys it first. So their adoption rate of technology there is extremely fast. The doctors there are always welcoming new technologies and they're ever willing to spend on technologies. Maybe one of the reasons is because they emphasize very much on healthcare tourism.
That's right, which is one of the biggest things, medical tourism around the world. Because in the West, it can be so expensive, and some, how do you say, treatments and procedures are obviously not covered by their insurance.
Yeah, precisely. So, so, you know, then after Thailand comes Malaysia. So we are always an emerging market. And the technology adoption rate in Malaysia is pretty good, actually. The doctors here are always willing to try new stuff, new technologies. Although sometimes, you know, switching from one device to another might take a bit of time for you to get used to it. But they're willing to go through that because they know at the end of the day, it gives more benefit to the patients in terms of the quality of the diagnostics and also in terms of waiting time.
Right.
At least they don't practice this thing like, my machine is still fine, I'll use it until it worn off.
Well, we still get some of those, but I'm proud to say that Malaysia is also one of the markets that pick up technologies rather fast.
I think nowadays it's all the more, it's even more true by the fact that customers, people, the public are more discerning. They are more aware because of the internet, because of information out there, and they want the very best, you know, the safest.
Accurate.
Yeah, exactly, and all
Close
that, which
to
is
an
very
accurate
important.
That is also one of the driving factors because patients now are so well versed.
That's right.
Sometimes patients end up questioning the doctors. What are you doing for me? What is this? What is that?
Yeah.
So
No, I think it's very simple. If let's say you go for a quick checkup, they still ask you to hold the plate for X-ray. You will question a bit, right?
Well, it depends. If that's a normal procedure, then yeah lah.
You know, nowadays X-ray is so advanced. You just
Well,
have to
nowadays
lie
I don't think they even use X-rays anymore already, right?
They still do. They still do, but in that was one of our new launches. They still do use X-rays, but instead of the conventional days.
That's right.
You remember those days where we used to process, we send our films to a camera shop to process?
Oh yeah, that's right.
They got to
Now
take
it's
it
like
to a
digital
dark room.
already,
Yeah,
right?
now it's all digital, and
That's right.
now everything can fly through the cloud.
That's right. And it goes straight to the computer, and you can see if it's not clear, then you just redo it again, right?
Yeah, now they even have technologies where you can adjust the images.
Right.
Yeah, adjust it so that you can see it clearer.
Yeah.
And you can send it straight to the cloud. So a doctor in the US, if you need a second opinion,
Well said.
send it across.
True, yeah.
The powers of technology today, yeah?
Yep.
Right. Okay, what's going to happen right now is we're going to take a quick commercial break. Of course, if you have any questions with regards to healthcare, in touch of the latest developments in medical equipment and, of course, imagery, well, you can always email us at updates@capitaltv.my or tweet us at the Capital TV. When we come back, we're going to talk about a recent machine which they have just launched, which is going to change the landscape here in the medical healthcare industry in Malaysia. So stay tuned and don't go away.
Right, welcome back to the Morning Bell. My name is Joanne, together with Raj Arya as well. So right now we're going to talk about, recently you have a press conference, right, that launched the latest Samsung Digital Radiography XGEO GC80. Wow, no, that's not a cell phone. No, that's not a Samsung Tab as well. What is it? So technology,
Well,
what is it?
The name itself sounds so complicated, right? Sounds so advanced, right?
Oh.
Well, basically, that is the latest launch from Samsung, you know, the global giant.
That's right.
They have moved into healthcare, and that was a move that was only recently. So basically because of the landscape of the economy changing, and also I suppose due to a couple of factors. As we know, baby boomers are now aging.
That's true.
And the market is, you know, the population is getting older.
That's right.
So this was one of the market that Samsung felt they should venture into because they've been so successful in all the other fields.
That's right.
And they want to move into this because they also have the manufacturing capability for this. Yep. So the new launch that they have right now is what we call the Samsung XGEO GC80. That is a digital radiography system. In short, that's a digital X-ray.
Right.
Yeah, as I was mentioning before, you remember those days, you know, we used to process films in the dark room?
That's right.
Yeah. Now you don't need any of those anymore. Yeah. Typically, what this does, it gives you a better image quality for diagnostic purposes, and also what it does is it significantly reduces the waiting time for patients. Yep. You know, one examination for a patient for a normal X-ray before, it could probably take you a region of 8 to 10 minutes for one examination.
Sure.
And guess how much time you need right now with the Samsung GC80?
Probably in a minute, all the information can be transferred over.
5 minutes.
You need it in 5 seconds.
5
That's right.
seconds.
Click, it straight away goes.
Yeah.
Transferred, information all
Yeah.
transferred already.
Like the video you have just seen earlier on, it's just like a Samsung Tab. So easy, you just
Yeah.
tap, 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 tap.
Then if it
Yeah.
doesn't come out so clear, you can delete and then take another quick one.
Exactly.
That's right, it's
You can even
amazing.
choose to enhance the image. You can enhance the brightness, the contrast.
Wow.
So you can choose to do that. So for
Touch up, touch up.
touch up a bit.
for better diagnostic purposes.
Well
And
said.
Samsung has also embedded all its mobile technologies in it, meaning what you can do now is if you capture an image on that equipment, you can view it directly on your Galaxy Tab.
Right, wow,
Yeah.
not bad, huh?
So doctors
all
can be
your
on the
Samsung
move.
devices.
Exactly, exactly. So
Yeah.
how long has this machine's been launched?
Well, globally, this was launched in 2012, which was just last year. So this
Just
is,
last year?
Yeah. This is why we're excited to bring it in Malaysia, because Malaysia has always been a primary focus for a lot of medical companies.
Right.
Okay, the adoption rate, as we mentioned, is pretty fast. And Malaysia also has been used as a reference center for most of the countries in Southeast Asia, next to Singapore.
Right, right.
Yep. It's easy for Malaysia because once Malaysia adopts this technology, when other people want to come and see, it's easy because of the language,
Right.
the access to the country.
Right.
So this technology, we're happy to bring it here, and we hope that the take-up rate will be high. We've already generated a lot of interest from our launching, and we believe that a number of hospitals will pick it up pretty soon.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, you are a medical equipment supplier. Of course, you carry other brands as well.
Yep.
Now the thing with Samsung being the new kid on the block with regards to this specifically,
Yep.
would there be a concern among, for example, the hospitals and all that,
Yep.
that they are used to more establishments like your Siemens and all
Yeah,
that,
precisely.
and this is something new, you know, in terms of expertise. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, we actually had quite a few of the same question during our launching. A lot of people came by and they say, well, Samsung is a new kid on the block.
Yeah,
They're more well known for their phones
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
tablets
yeah.
and all that.
So they were asking
Electronics.
me, you know, is this thing going to break down after 2 years? You know? But if we understand Samsung as a company, the brand value of Samsung itself is worth much more than the healthcare business.
Well said.
Yep. So Samsung, being a global brand, what they emphasize on is products of high quality and reliability. Why? Because they just cannot afford to jeopardize the brand value.
Well said.
Yeah, if I want to sell an X-ray which is worth $1 million, I may lose my mobile phone business which is worth billions of dollars. So that is the kind of confidence and reliability that we're giving to our customers. Yeah.
Well, the thing is, technologies like this, like machines like this, right, it can last for approximately about like how many years, and then the hospitals would have to change into another
Well,
machine.
generally we recommend between 7 to 10 years. Yeah, but some hospitals, of course, if they can, they try and stretch it to 12 years. Yeah, so it depends on the condition of the machine, but also depends on the number of patients that they have. It's like a car. The further you drive
the
it,
mileage.
yeah, so it depends on the usage of it. The heavier the usage, the quicker you gotta change it. But typically, they would use it for about close to 10 years before they change it.
Now the thing is, we know technology is advancing at a very rapid pace. You know, new things coming out every
So
single
fast.
year.
Yeah.
So with regards to machines like that, would there be the ability to enhance it in case, like for example, there is new advancements?
Yeah. Well, everything we know in the medical industry has a life cycle.
Sure.
Yeah. And most of this will have a life cycle between 10 to 15 years.
Right.
Before it is totally replaceable.
Right.
Yeah. So most of the equipment that are launched in the market, even the GC80, it has upgrade versions.
Ah,
Yeah.
very important.
Yes,
it has
yes,
upgrade
yes.
versions. It has options for you to upgrade, and there are. This is a little bit more technical, okay, but there are various aspects of it. For example, the detector of it, the detector which captures the images, okay, that can be easily replaceable. And the main point about Samsung is that they are actually a manufacturer of the detector themselves. As we know, Samsung is one of the largest
Right.
flat panel TV
Right.
manufacturers in the world.
In fact, they even supply Apple, your direct competitor. The irony of that as well, right?
Yeah. So basically, because they control the manufacturing ability or the facility of flat panels, and one of the main component in the DR is the flat panel. So they use the same technologies, they use the same manufacturing plant, they control the technology, and they can control the
So
cost.
everything is in-house, which is
In-house.
fantastic.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Are you one of the only distributor for this in Malaysia?
Yes, at this moment, we are actually the official partner for Malaysia and Brunei.
Right.
Yeah.
A lot of phone calls ready from all the doctors.
We're getting a lot
far.
of inquiry.
A lot of
I mean,
inquiries,
in our latest launch, we generated close to about 300 inquiries.
Right.
Yeah, so that's good news for us, and
Right.
now it's working time.
Right.
Time
Exactly.
to get to the ground.
So this is the first from Samsung which you are collaborating on, right?
Yes.
Right. So I'm sure that there are future equipments in the pipeline as well further down the road.
Well, we're very excited because Samsung is right now planning or on the verge of, or rather they are already researching technologies for MRI and CT scan.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, and this will be able to give us a better diagnostic for more applications, better offerings to the hospitals in the future.
Right, right. Now, because to LAC, there are of course many medical equipment suppliers out there, you know,
Yep.
for example. So what differentiates LAC from the rest of them?
Well, I get asked this quite often, and I always say is our philosophy is under promising and over delivering. Yeah, that's what I believe in because the industry is very small. Yeah, everybody knows everybody, and it's a matter of time before your reputation goes bonkers.
Yeah.
So what we do is we always tell our customers, we always stick to our promises. Whatever that we promise, even if we have to make a loss, we deliver. Yep.
And that's very important.
Yes.
Yeah. Currently, do you have anything that is in collaboration together with, from your side, with another different?
Well, yes, we are also the authorized distributor for GE Healthcare for the healthcare.
One of the biggest in the world is.
Yes, and we are the official partner for them for the healthcare IT portion of it. Meaning what we do is we digitize X-ray departments. What I was mentioning just now, you can send images through cloud,
That's
through
right.
the internet, broadband. That is what we do as well. Yep. So we're also the partners of that.
Right, right. Well, it looks like there's so much advancements compared to maybe a generation ago to this day. So we are actually quite fortunate in that sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. And especially currently, a lot of people, the mortality rates, of course, people are living a lot longer. But the question is, the quality of life may not be
Yes.
quite the same as our parents and grandparents, right?
Yes, that's true.
Right.
I mean, mortality rate, well, life expectancy.
We live longer,
generally
yeah.
we live longer, yeah.
Yeah.
But the question is, are we living better or not? Yeah, but technology advancements are helping, are coping up with it, making people live better, having more quality lives.
That's right.
Technology like Samsung, what we do is we try to detect diseases before it happens.
Catch it early, because prevention is always better than the cure,
Precisely,
right? Before it's too late, you know, stage 3,
True,
stage
true,
4.
true.
That's right.
And with a much more accurate results than to going through so many, okay, take this, why? Blood test, another blood test, take this. That day I just came for blood test, no, wrong results, have to redo again. As a patient, we always want to avoid all these things to happen.
Precisely. So that is why diagnostic quality is very, very important, because if you don't get the right picture or the right diagnosis, you got to go through multiple examinations.
Yeah.
So what we do is with technology like this, we actually want to give as precise as possible a diagnostic or confidence to the doctors, so that they can actually take the next step for patients.
So that they will be much more professional. I have 10 years of experience being as a doctor, and with this result, much more accurate.
I mean, it builds confidence in the doctors as well. How would you feel if you are
have the latest Samsung XGEO GC80?
Yeah. I mean, you would feel more confident, because before you do a procedure or before you even need to do an operation, you know that it is there exactly.
Yeah.
You don't want to be operating and finding, oh, it wasn't there. You know?
Oops!
Yeah, that does happen, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, if you have any questions so far for YP, you can always email us at updates@capitaltv.my or tweet us at @thecapitaltv. Why don't you tell us when was your last medical checkup and how advanced was all the technology machines? We're going to take a very short commercial break and we'll be right back after this. Right, welcome back to the Morning Bell. I hope that the next medical checkup, Raj, remember the last medical checkup we did together? We hope that the next one that we'll do will see the Samsung Digital Radiography XGEO GC80.
I know why. Because you also have a Samsung tab. So the minute you finish, you can transfer it to your...
Exactly.
So next time you want to refer, very easy, right?
And then can edit a bit. Can Photoshop a bit.
Touch up.
That's right. Okay, so YP, now moving forward, would you be thinking about considering to adventure into any different side of the business?
Well, the medical field itself is broad. Yeah, so right now we are very focused on medical imaging.
That's right.
And there are plans for us to move into different areas, but still within the medical industry. We are looking into a different range, for example, the ultrasound. Okay. Because Samsung has their range of ultrasound as well, which is very well established.
Right.
So what we're trying to do is we're looking into a different segment, the obstetrics and gynecology.
Right.
Yeah, that is one area that we're looking at. And possibly we may look into the critical care department. Critical care, things to do with operating theaters, the emergency department. Right. So those are areas that we're looking at serving in the future.
Right. Okay, YP, very important. Now, we all know that the 4 major examples of imaging, the most basic, of course, you have X-ray, you have ultrasound,
right.
CT scans, and MRIs.
That's right.
Now, for some of us out there, it's very complicated in a sense. What does what, you know, how does this one work? Can you just very briefly explain the differences between these 4 and what is each of these 4 used for?
Well, an X-ray is typically used in general. An X-ray is typically used to capture images, for still images, right? For fractures, for cracks, for...
Related to bones, for example,
yeah,
right?
mostly bones. And of course, you can also check your lungs. The most common examination for X-ray is for your lung examination.
Sure.
Yeah. So that's for sure. If you go to any medical checkup, you will definitely get an X-ray of your chest, right?
That's right.
True.
Yeah, that's the most common one. Yeah.
That's the fundamental of
that's
it.
Right.
Right. And ultrasounds are ultrasound equipments. Basically, they can actually penetrate into soft tissues, but they do not use radiation. Yeah, because
sound wave, right?
Sound wave.
The sound wave.
So what happens is they actually emit sound from the equipment, and when it hits an object, the sound will reflect back and it will capture the signals.
Right.
So that is what ultrasound does.
It does the same thing
is-
as an X-ray?
No, different. It is used mainly, right now, it's used mainly in obstetrics and gynecology.
Okay.
For
See
pregnant
that
women.
heartbeat? You see that heartbeat?
Yes,
You can see the
and-
picture, right? The shape and all that.
You can even see a
Kidneys,
baby.
right? Kidneys?
Kidneys,
You
yes.
can check
you can
kidneys
see
as
you
well.
can see your organs. You can even see babies who are moving, you know,
That's
in
right.
your stomach. You can see that. You can also use it for we call it MSK, musculoskeletal examinations. You can check for joint pains, so you can do that as well with ultrasound.
Okay.
Can you see like 3D or 4D, as they call it? No,
Yeah.
yes, because I heard.
It's
I
true.
heard that you
It
can
used
see
to be 3D, where
It
you
used to
can
be
see
3D.
three-dimensional. Now
Yeah.
it's up to 4D.
What is 4D?
4D.
4D
how?
because
Got colour.
previously 3D was reconstructed. So they
Okay.
capture images and they reconstruct it, so it's not a live image.
Right.
4D is a live 3D moving image.
Okay.
So what you see is real time.
Right.
Yeah.
The baby,
The
is
baby.
really
Right.
clear.
Yeah, I mean if the baby if the baby shifts his head from left to right, you can see it immediately.
Right. Interesting.
Yeah.
So what about
Oh,
CT scans?
Okay, okay.
Yep. Well, CT scans are also running on the principle of radiation. Yep, CT scans are typically used for, you can actually use it for multiple examinations, but more thorough examinations, because X-rays, you can only get basic images. Okay, and CT scan, you get a series of images. Okay, for example, now you hear of the 64 slices, the
That's right.
124. Yeah, so these slices basically determine how detailed your image is. Okay, so when they take slices of it, the more slices you have, the better reconstruction you get of the picture.
That's right.
Yeah, so you can use it for multiple multiple applications. For neurology, you can scan for your brain.
Brain, yeah.
Yeah, you can scan for even well, multiple examinations. You can even some CT scan, if you couple it with a PET, we call it a PET equipment. You
That's
can even
right.
detect for cancer.
Okay.
Wow.
And the last one, MRI.
MRI runs on magnetic field, so it's non-radiation, okay, and it's mostly used for soft tissues. You get better pictures of soft tissues.
Right.
So if you have, for example, arthritis, an MRI
yeah.
would be good.
Right.
Yeah. MRI can also be used of the brain. So there are multiple examinations that you can do, but it really depends on the practitioner.
Right.
Because some practitioners they prefer an MRI image, some of them prefer a CT image, and some of them prefer both. Yeah.
See, someone who has economics background,
Become such a pro already.
like a doctor already, like a pro. Can you do that?
Well-
Can you do so? Or maybe we should send you for a CT scan.
It's okay. I'm very
MRI.
comfortable doing what I'm doing right now.
So we can have attachment for 6 months.
Right. Then I become a pro like you as
Yeah.
well already. Right. So obviously it took you quite a while to be able to absorb all of this. Like you mentioned earlier, it's like a foreign
Yes.
language.
Yep, it was.
So how long did it take you to be able to come to terms with all of this?
Well, I was quite fortunate because Malaysian doctors are very nice people. So a lot of them are ever willing to share their knowledge with you. So we actually get training from our suppliers, our principal, and also from even from doctors as well.
Right.
Yeah, and it took me probably a year, between 8 months to a year, to actually just to understand the jargons and what it
Right.
actually means.
Right.
Yeah, so it was tough. I mean, the process was tough,
Yeah.
but as you do it more, you get used to it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
Well
other than doing launchings for the latest Samsung Digital GC80, right? Do you have like seminars for the doctors for the to
Yep.
understand more
Yeah.
in terms of all the machines?
We actually have regular sessions of CMEs. We call it continuous medical education. We actually have continuous sessions of this where we do workshops for hospitals, and sometimes we do regional workshops. That means, you know, maybe in the northern zone we do one and
That's
we invite
right.
the doctors. So we do that on a regular basis. We have one at least every quarter.
Yeah.
Yep.
To keep
so
them
that-
abreast of all the latest developments and updates
Precisely.
with regards
Next
to
thing you
the
know,
upgrades
yeah.
and all that.
You,
as
you
well.
do not
Very
you do
important.
not want someone that, you know, when you're lying down there to do your ultrasound and then she will go like, just give me a minute. I don't know what button.
Let
I
me
have
refer
pressed."
to the manual. Oops.
Oh, let me call the vendor. You know.
Doesn't argue well for confidence. Yeah, that's it now. Right,
So
right.
well, it seems like we are running out of time. So why don't you give a bit of advice to our viewers? How, you know, from someone who has an economic background to something totally alien to you, the
Yeah.
successful advice that you can give to our viewers?
Well, I suppose getting into anything new, anybody getting into anything new is always difficult. But what kept me going was because of the decision that I made. Because I noticed a lot of people all around, you know, they do not make a single decision. All of them, they make multiple decisions. At this point of time, they feel like doing this and they venture into it, and 2 days later they find it's not for them, they get out.
True.
Okay? So when I decided to make this move, I decided to make it permanent. So I said, you know, be it tough, be it difficult, I'm gonna pull through. And it's true, we went through tough times, but if you actually fall back to the decision that you made and you stick to that, okay, it will happen.
Right.
Okay.
Persistence and perseverance, right? Stick to
Yep.
it all the way, and the light will be at the end of the tunnel.
That's right.
Well said.
Right. So just a quick one, if they would like to find out more information in terms of LAC Medical, where can they find out?
Well, you can actually go to our website at www.lacmedical.com.
There you have it.
Yep.
So doctors, pick up your phone and start calling it by now. Right, thank you so much, YP.
Thank you.
We have learned quite a lot, a bit of from the medical side, the technology side. That's all the time we have today. Happy weekend. And yes, I'm going off to the airport now. Raj, bye-bye.
Some peace and quiet in KL for the weekend. I'm so excited.
We'll
See you
guys
next week.
Next week, yeah.
Thank you very much, wife.